everybody, it's Kira and welcome back to my channel. So it's Christmas time and I thought I would share with you some stuff that I got, but I'm actually going to show you stuff that I got from my trip over the summer. I never ended up editing my haul from my Oxford trip, so here is some cool things that I got from this summer. You'll see stuff that I got for Christmas later on, so hope you enjoy. So today I'm going to show you all of the things that I got on my trip to Oxford. I'm going to save the books for last because those are the most exciting things, of course. But yeah, I'm going to try and go mostly chronological order. I'm not going to show things that I got for other people, like other souvenirs, just because I don't really feel like I need to. But yeah, we're going to see all of the things that I got on my month-long trip to Oxford. Also, if I move positions throughout the video, it's because I'm going over to this side of my bed where everything is laid out, and then coming back here. So I might change positions a little bit. So that's just going to happen. So I'm going to start off with the bags that I got. So I did go to King's Cross Station at platform 9 3/4 and got a bag because I bought things, which you will see later. So yeah, I have the fancy King's Cross London platform 9 3/4 bag. I went to a souvenir shop in London and got this pretty cool one that I'm pretty happy with. I think it's really neat. And then I have one from Blackwell's, which is a bookstore company. I did not get one from Waterstones, although I did go to Waterstones, but I do have a Blackwell's one, so that's exciting. And then the other bag that I got is this little backpack, which actually I got it because it can fold up. So this you unfold and then you fold it up and then it becomes like a little pouch, carrying case for the backpack. And this was a lifesaver because I hadn't brought a smaller bag. I just had my suitcase, my purse, and my big blue backpack that I used for school. But I didn't really need that big of a backpack for our day trips. I really needed something smaller. So I was able to find this at the Covered Market. It was a store in the Covered Market. And I'm very, very thankful that I purchased this because I used it all the time. Okay, now we'll move into clothes really quickly because I only got two things of two clothing articles. So the first one are these sweatpants, which say, oh, that's going to be backwards for you. It says, "In memory of when I cared," which I just thought was very funny. I actually got these in Prague when I went to visit the Czech Republic because I hadn't brought any sweatpants with me on the trip. I brought leggings and a pair of nice dress pants, but I hadn't brought sweatpants. And I was like, I miss my sweatpants. I want a pair. So I actually bought these in Prague. And then the only other clothing article that I got is I got an Oxford University sweatshirt, which I am so happy with. It just has the Oxford crest, which is not Teddy Hall's crest, but that's okay. So yeah, it just says Oxford University, and it's just a simple sweatshirt, and I love sweatshirts, so yeah, I was just very happy with this. I like how I said I was going in chronological order. I'm not. I'm just going by the things that I have in piles. So ignore the fact that I'm not going in chronological order. So next up I have things from Teddy Hall. So we stayed at St. Edmund Hall while that's where we lived. So if you don't know anything about Oxford and their college system, so Oxford University is the whole of it, but within Oxford University there are 30-something different colleges spread out throughout the city of Oxford. Some of them are very close together. Ours was really close to Queen's College and maybe Magdalen. I don't even remember. They all started to blend together in my head, honestly. But we went to St. Edmund Hall, and so I was able to get a lanyard that says St. Edmund Hall, and this is the crest for St. Edmund Hall, which you will see quite often in the St. Edmund Hall things. But it's also affectionately known as Teddy Hall, so I kind of use them interchangeably. So yeah, I got this nice lanyard. It was for my key, but they said we could keep the lanyard, so that was exciting. And then we had a very fancy dinner one night. It was on our last week on Wednesday night, they served us dinner in the old dining hall, which is reserved for very fancy occasions, and they had these awesome napkins that say St. Edmund Hall, so I took a napkin. And then I also have just like my info thing with a map of the college on it. So the library is an old church or old chapel. It was beautiful, and the gardens that they had around the library were amazing. Our class was in the Bessie Hall, and I lived in staircase 1 from the front quad. So yeah, there is Teddy Hall. So our first Friday trip that we took was to Warrick Castle. So it is a castle literally in Warwick. So I have the visitor's guide for it, and it was incredible. It was such an amazing place to go. It was very beautiful. And I'm so glad that I was able to go to that. It was so cool, and they had like reenactments going on all the time too. So I also have my return ticket for our train to Warwick Castle, and then I got a pin from Warwick Castle. So yeah, it's just a little pin that has Warwick Castle on it. So yeah, those are my souvenirs from Warwick. Also, for my Czech trip, I forgot, I also have a train ticket that I used to get around in Prague. I'll do a really exciting one next. When I went to King's Cross Station and went to platform 9 3/4, I got my picture taken with the sign, and so I bought this little like picture frame with the picture in it that has like the Hogwarts Express on it. So and it has a little thing on the back so you can like stand it up and look at it. And it came with this really cool like card thing, and you can download the picture that they took. You can download it online as well when I bought it. So, but it just came with this really cute like little card of the platform. I also bought a little Hufflepuff pin because I am a proud Hufflepuff. And I thought it was really cool, and it has like the at platform 9 3/4 little thing on the thingamabob. Words are hard. And the last thing that I got from there, besides books, which you will see later, is this Hufflepuff bookmark, which is super fancy. And I haven't taken it out of the packaging, but it's pretty amazing, and I love it so much. While I was in Oxford, I managed to make it to the public library, and I got a library card, which also came with 2 little ones, which is great. But, like, look at this. My library card. My library card has, I want to say it's the Bodleian Library. I don't actually remember what this is, but it's so epic, and I love it so much. And then I also got this little, like, leaflet about things that the Oxfordshire libraries offer. And it comes with a subscription to BorrowBox, or not subscription, but it's a thing that's a lot like Overdrive or Libby, but it's called BorrowBox, and I'd never heard of it before, but I downloaded it and can use my Oxford card with that. Our third weekend there, we got to go to Stonehenge, which was amazing, except for the fact that it was cold, windy, and rainy the entire time we were there. So we basically got there, walked around the stones, and then went back home because it was just miserable outside. I wish that it had been nicer so we could have stayed longer, but I have my official ticket to going to see Stonehenge. I bought a little pin that has the rocks on it, which I thought was really fun. I also bought a bookmark with Stonehenge on it, and it's fancy because it has a ribbon. But yeah, it just has all of Stonehenge on it. And then of course I got a postcard, so I got this really pretty postcard with a sunrise, sunrise, which I thought was very pretty. So on my last Saturday, I went to London and I got to go see a musical. And so here's my ticket, and I went and saw Come From Away, which was incredible. I didn't know anything about it going into it, other than I'd heard good things, and that was about it. So it's based on a true story of right after 9/11, the U.S. airspace was closed, and so 38 planes were forced to divert and land in this little town called Gander in Newfoundland, which is up in Canada. And so 7,000 people come to this town of 9,000, like this city of 9,000 people suddenly had an influx of 7,000 people who were all scared and tired and hungry, and they had to figure out how to manage that. And so the musical follows the passengers and the people of Gander, and it was amazing. If you have the chance to go see it, please do. It was incredible. I've been listening to the album nonstop. But I got this program from the musical as well. I saw like half of the original West End cast. The rest were like all standbys and stuff, but they were all so incredible. And the other thing is that it's a smaller cast of like 12 or 14 people. And so they all play like multiple characters, but they're able to switch so fast. It was so seamless in how they switched characters, and sometimes they would switch accents as well. Like there's a pilot who is from Texas, so she had a really thick like southern accent, but then one of her other characters was a Newfoundlander, and so like she would switch to like this interesting Canadian accent, and it was so amazing, so incredible. So if you can go see Come From Away, please do. It was amazing. My last Saturday, that same day, I also went to see St. Paul's Cathedral, which is such an amazing place. So here is my little ticket from seeing St. Paul's. I paid for a tour, and so I got to walk around. So they have this really famous painting called The Light of the World, so I got a postcard of The Light of the World, and I also got to see it in person, which was like so incredible. And then I have just another postcard of the outside of the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral. You actually can go up the stairs and walk around around the dome here and up here too. The view was insane. It was so beautiful. You could see like all of London laid out. It was incredible. So if you can go see St. Paul's Cathedral, please do. The inside of it is just majestic. It's so beautiful. So many like paintings and sculptures. And they also have crypts underneath it that you can go down and see. But yeah, like the crypts are amazing. Everything about St. Paul's is amazing. So it was so cool. So I was studying C.S. Lewis as part of my course that I was taking. And so we actually got to go to C.S. Lewis's home, which is called the Kilns. I didn't know this, but you can actually like rent it and study there. For like it's a working living house that you can go to and like stay for a year. You have to like apply, and they only let like a small number of people do it, obviously, but it was really, really cool. So I have 2 postcards from it. So this one just has like images from the house. There are only 4 original items from the original house. The house was eventually fell into disrepair and was going to be knocked down until somebody from the C.S. Lewis Foundation decided they were going to purchase the house. The C.S. Lewis Foundation owns the Kilns right now. But it's beautiful, and they have like these amazing gardens and this like pond that is over by it that you can walk around in. So pretty and peaceful, and I can totally imagine C.S. Lewis writing there, and I can see how like Narnia was influenced by it. So it was really cool. And then I also got one of it in Christmas time, or at least like in winter with snow. And so again, like I could easily imagine like when I was walking through the woods and thinking about how it would look in winter, and I was like, this is so Narnia. Like I can so see Narnia in this. And then the other thing I got, which I haven't actually read yet, is this little booklet that's called Walking with Giants: When Tolkien Talked with Lewis. So they had this free little booklet thing. And it's pretty short, but it's just like a conversation between Tolkien and Lewis, which I thought was really cool. One of the other people we studied was Lewis Carroll, also known as Charles Dodgson, and they have a whole little Alice shop in Oxford. So I only got this postcard, but it's of Alice Little, who is the Alice that Alice in Wonderland was based off of. So it just has some information about Alice's shop, which actually was where the real life Alice went and shopped, and it has now been turned into an Alice in Wonderland shop, but the original Alice actually did go to that shop. It says that it was a grocery shop where Alice bought her sweets from the shopkeeper. So yeah, that was pretty neat. I forgot, for my London trip, I also have a train ticket and a bus ticket for being able to get around in places. So while we were there, we took many different little trips and guided tours and things. So I have a map of Oxford, which I realized that I didn't actually use, but I probably would have been helpful. This map was from our very first day there. We arrived on a Saturday and we took a walking tour around Oxford, and so this map was from our tour around Oxford. But places like the Covered Market and let's see what else, and like St. Aldate Street, and Queen's Lane, like, and High Street, like, I know where those places are now, because I walked all over it all the time. So then I also have a little brochure from Merton College, which is one of the colleges that we toured. I believe Merton is where Tolkien went to school. I don't, because I believe he taught at Exeter. It's one of the two. It's Merton and Exeter are the two colleges with Tolkien. One of them he went to, one of them he studied at. I don't remember. But I have this little brochure from going to Merton College. And then I also have one from Christ Church, which is one of the biggest ones. Lots of parts of Harry Potter were filmed at Christ Church, which was really, really cool to see and be able to walk through. So each afternoon after we finished our schoolwork, we got to do a little outing. So some of the college tours were outings, but then we also went to other different places. So we went to the Museum of Natural History, which was really cool. They had a lot of dinosaur bones, and this is of like whales. And so it was pretty epic. And then connected to that is the Pitt Rivers Museum, which is more like cultural museum. So that one is more science and this one is more cultural. And they had an exhibit of refugees from, I don't remember where, honestly, but I got 2 postcards of the art that they had from the refugees. So that one, and then this just simple Blue Cross, which that exhibit was super impactful and really amazing. So in the evenings on Mondays and Wednesdays, we got to go to performances, either of a play or of some music. And so these are tickets from 2 of the music ones. So the, I'm going to say these wrong, Pergolesi and Scarletti was one of the first things that we did. And it was a violin, a piano, and some singing. Which was held in the Exeter, both of these were held in Exeter College Church, or Exeter's College Chapel. So, it was really beautiful. It was just very, very long. I remember I was just like so tired and the seats were very uncomfortable. So, but it was very beautiful to listen to. And then the other one I have is Singing in Secret, which is one of the last ones that we did. And it was just singing, but because it was held in the same place, the majority of us actually left halfway through because we were all really tired and uncomfortable, and even though the singing was beautiful, we were getting close to the end of our trip and we were all just very exhausted. One that I didn't leave halfway through, though, was we went and saw Gershwin and Friends by Jack Gibbons, who is a... Oops, there was more stuff in that. Jack Gibbons is a master pianist, and like seeing him play, like even though I didn't know hardly any of the songs that he was playing or anything, like I didn't comprehend any of it, he was incredible, and he would take the time in between songs to show us how the harmonies were being built. And so he'd explain, like, this is what I have to do with this hand, this is what I have to do with this hand, and then you add in this, and then you add in this on top of it, and it's all these complicated things. And so it was really, really interesting to like see him explain that and then hear the piece and like be able to spot like, oh, this is where he was talking about this. So it was very incredible, and I'm so glad that I got to see it. And then we also went to a production of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. It was a really interesting production. They didn't have any props, and so it was a little bit hard sometimes to follow the story. I didn't know anything about Wuthering Heights before I went, and so there were moments when it was hard to follow, but what they did is they used ladders as part of their set. And it's very cool how they use the ladders to be like doors and windows and things. and the acting in a couple of the actors were amazing. Some of them, like, they were all very good, but there's a couple that were like amazing, and so it was a really cool production. It was outside, so it was just really cool. I also got a bunch of Oxford postcards. Here's one with all of the crests of all of the different colleges in Oxford. Can you spot Teddy Hall? Do you remember what Teddy Hall's crest looks like? It's the one with the birds. I have it upside down. We'll try that again. Can you spot Teddy Hall's crest? It's the one with the birds. So it is actually the first one right there. So this one is Teddy Hall. But yeah, I also have just like a bunch of other postcards, which I might keep a few of them, but I'm also going to give them out to friends who I didn't think to get souvenirs for. So postcards. And then these last few are things that I got specifically for myself. So this is also a postcard, but it also has a calendar on it, which I thought was really cool. So I will be using that. I also got a lanyard that says Oxford on it. This way. That says Oxford on it. And it's got the British flag as well. And which is great because actually you can see it right there. I have a lanyard of when I went and saw Mockingjay, parts 1 and 2, when part 2 just came out. But it is completely filled with pins, and I have a couple of pins that, like, I can't fit on there, but I don't have any place to put them. So I'm going to put them on this Oxford lanyard. So this will become my new pin lanyard. I also have a bookmark with all of the... I'm doing it upside down again. I should be careful. I also have a bookmark with all of the crests of the colleges on here as well, just because I thought it was really cool. And then I have 2 magnets. So I have this one that just says Oxford, and then this one, which is Oxford, but it's Christchurch, which is one of the more famous colleges there. Oh, books! Oops. I just tried to end it without doing the books. I will show you the books. So we'll start with the 3 that I was absolutely sure I was going to get, and that is An Ember in the Ashes series in the UK editions. So we have An Ember in the Ashes, A Torch Against the Night, and A Reaper at the Gates. So I knew these were the 3 books that I was like, I know for sure I'm going to buy these because I really want to buy them. So now I have them all in the US and UK editions. I don't have Torch in the new cover yet. I think that is the only one that I am missing though. So yeah, these are just so awesome and I love them. On my first trip to London, I was looking in a bookstore called Daunt Books, I think is what it's called. And I found this one that's really beautiful, and I was like, I should get it, so I did. And that is The Girl of Ink and Stars by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. It is a middle grade book about a girl who her father ends up going missing. Her friend and father go missing, and so she goes on an adventure to try and find them, and has to do a lot with different maps. It was good. It wasn't like my favorite of all time, but I just think this cover is so stunning. So I was like, I should get it. So I did. Speaking of stunning covers, one that I wasn't planning on getting, but totally did, is the collector's edition of Six of Crows. I saw this in a bookstore, I think a Waterstones, when I was in London. I was just browsing, and it was the only copy left. And I've never seen the special edition in person, which also has red sprayed edges. And I was like, I have to get this. I don't own any copies of Six of Crows or Crooked Kingdom. So I was like, I mean, I don't even own this book, but I need to get it. So it is absolutely beautiful. I am so happy with it. And it also has character art in the back, which is just incredible. And I love it so much. And we missed Nina, or Kaz and Inej over here. So I actually just reread Six of Crows because I had it with me, and it's just such a good book, so I am so happy with this. And then the last 2 that I got, which I also kind of knew that I wanted to get, are the house editions for Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban. Chamber of Secrets I bought at a different bookstore. I bought at Blackwell's. So this one I knew that I was planning on getting. While I was at the Harry Potter store, of course, they had all of the house editions. So I was like, I might as well. So when I was at Platform 9 3/4, I bought the 3rd one. So now I own all 3 that they have released in the house editions, which is really cool. Also, I feel like I need to reread the series now that I'm buying them for myself, because they're just so good. So I really love the sprayed edges, and I'm curious to know if they're going to alternate black and yellow covers as well, because the first book is black, this one is yellow, and this one is black again. So I'm curious if they will keep that alternating going. But yeah, so these are the last books that I bought. Hi there, so it's a lot later, but we just got our books that my professor promised us, so I wanted to add this into the haul. So this is the Inklings of Experience book. So it is the book of poetry, so each student had to submit 3 poems and like a 3-page introduction of like about the poems. So my professor put them in this wonderful book along with pictures. So I will find mine. They are in here alphabetically by last name. Here's my intro page, and then so it has my introduction that I wrote, and then it has like my poems along with like a picture of my group. So yeah, it's a super nice, really cool book, and I'm very excited that I was able to get this. So all the students got one. So yeah, just another memento from my trip. So wanted to add this into this Oxford haul. Alright, that is all of the things that I bought in Oxford. If you want to check out my social media where I have some pictures and things, I will link it all down in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!